Hello and good evening. Welcome to the New Exit Experience, No Exit Experience, where everyone gets a chance to talk and no one is excluded, with the exception of those who trample on the speech of others. It is a show where all topics are welcome and no one is censored for giving their honest views on those topics. If you can handle that, then hop on the bus. You're in for a wild ride. My name is Jason. I'm the bus driver. My passengers today are Vanessa, Richard, Robbie, and on the tiller we have Tom Mountbatten Windsor. Anybody in the Zoom room? Story of my life. Okay, so we're going to hit it like a truck or a bus. The first topic I want to bring up is something that came to me because in the past we talked about World War II, about the Catholic Church knowing about the Holocaust and not doing anything about it. Like the Pope, whichever Pope that was.
Was that Pius?
Pius the 12th or the 13th?
I'm not sure which number.
I think it was 12. Also, the New York Times was published by Arthur Sulzberger, who was an anti-Zionist Jew, and he suppressed stories about the Holocaust because he didn't want the New York Times to look like a Jew apologist paper. Mm-hmm. So they knew about it, but Band of Brothers was a factual account of recounting of guys who were in the army. And in the episode 9, which is called Why We Fight, that's when they find, was it Bergen-Belsen or is it Dachau? But it's a surprise to them. It's a surprise to the army guys. And Dick Winters, the major, says, Division says they're finding these all over Europe, and the Soviets liberated one a couple months back in Poland, and it was 10 times bigger and had its own crematory. That's Auschwitz. They didn't mention it by name. Mm-hmm. But if those rank-and-file guys are just finding it, you know, and they don't have access to the news or the radio because Armed Forces Radio, or the equivalent that existed then, all the things were censored, you know? And that's why I wonder if your average person in Peoria, Illinois, or in Gravesend, London, you know, or Louvain, France, well, no, that's a bad example. That's Vichy. in Brittany, if they knew about it, you know what I mean? Because the Germans did, but they were like an encircled community. You know, if you weren't German, you didn't get the news and you didn't get the gossip. You know, they didn't. So, does anybody have anything to add to that? That's what I have. What do you think?
Remember I was telling you about that book that's on the bestseller list about a woman who was raised in the mountains of Idaho, yes. Totally homeschooled. Mm-hmm. And then one day she said, I got to go out into the world and I got to find my own way. And she went and she applied to Harvard and she got in. She said the worst day of her life at Harvard was when the history teacher started talking about the Holocaust. Mm-hmm. Innocently, she raised her hand and said, what exactly is this Holocaust? Everybody in the class interpreted that as, oh, you're denying that the Holocaust? They made her life hell for the rest of the year.
Wow.
She said, I must have explained to people 1,000 times. I just didn't know what it was.
Because similarly, with another H in the Holodomor, which was a Ukrainian famine in the 30s. So I don't know, because holo to me means everything, you know, but that's a Latin, or is that a Greek? But I don't know the etymology of Holocaust, you know, or if it comes from, if it's Germanic, Russian.
Hey, Richard, you could look that up on the computer, maybe.
That's not a... Anybody else have anything to say? Because every time I watch that, I say I can't watch it again because it's just horrid. Well, and that was a real thing about the refeeding syndrome. If people that are starving, if they eat too soon, too much, they will gorge themselves to death.
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling.
Well, in our school, we watched Schindler's List, and and the way he went and ended the Holocaust when he saw that little girl in that pile of the dead
and the red
people, and then that's how he ended it. It changed his changed his attitude.
Well, that's it was such a down thing that Spielberg would call Robin Williams. Robin Williams would just put him on speaker and he'd riff for an hour and a half or an hour and then just hang up, just to raise their spirits, because it was one woman who was an extra said that Ralph Fiennes was Amon Goss. She saw him, she started shaking, she almost peed her pants because it was just like seeing him live again.
Mm-hmm. The word Holocaust comes from two Greek words.
Yes.
Holo means whole, and kaustos means burnt.
Oh, like caustic soda. Okay.
Complete burn. Scorched earth. Ooh.
Now I got it. In the Old Testament, that's why Abraham, God tells him to make a holocaust of a ram. So burn it to the ground. Yeah, when they say
Right.
burnt offerings, I mean, they say burn it until you can't eat it. Burn it right to the ashes.
Yeah. Well, to expect mainstream media of any era to actually give you the full story or to really know what's going on in the world is foolish, because you're never going to get the full story. There's always someone controlling something, omitting something.
Well, it's like the blind explorers, or the blind scientists with the elephant. Mm-hmm. You're getting a whole, if you put all the stories together, if you can collate them all together, you're going to get the whole story. But if you're only feeling where they feel the trunk or the tail or the elephant shit or the leg, you know what I mean? You're only getting one part of it.
Yeah. That's why it's good to go to multiple sources, but you still won't get the full picture probably.
Well, the problem is when you veer from factual reporting into like the what was it, the one Fox News, and just make stuff up out of whole cloth,
Or like the New
Or-
York Post.
or publish people or amplify people making stuff up out of whole cloth. Like Anthony Fauci killed 9 million people. What? What? Yeah, and
That's happened because of Reagan getting rid of that fairness doctrine, and then like news could be more like opinion pieces instead of being balanced. Remember, they used to have the thing on TV stations, they'd have like an editorial, and the management of the station would often give their view. Then someone from the public could call in and have like a counter editorial, and they would give them airtime. I remember that on WPIX New York from New York City, Channel 11. They always have these on at like 1 in the morning or 5 in the mornings, the editorials and the answers to the editorials. That was part of like what they had to do under the FCC mandate too, was like to have different viewpoints presented and have it balanced.
40 years ago, WGR also had it, WGR Radio. You know, they would
Yeah.
have $10 for the best comment, you know, that you call in and say, if you say, that guy sucks, that's not the best comment. You say, that guy sucks because this, and this. That's a better comment. Don't tell me I suck. Tell me why I suck.
So news was able to become more of like entertainment than actual news. With the elimination of the fairness doctrine, that's why Rush Limbaugh and radio shows like that could emerge. That's when they emerged.
Don Henley, Dirty Laundry. The bubble-headed bleach blonde comes on at 5. She'd tell you about the plane crash with a gleam in her eye.
Right.
And another line, I don't have to look good. I don't have to sound good. I just have to be clear. Or I just have to look good. I don't have to be clear.
Like in
That's-
Scientology, when you're clear.
No, that's just straight up bullshit.
Really?
Do you know that there's actually free-range Scientologists, people who don't want to pay for it but still want to study it?
That is great.
Or it makes you jump on a couch like Tom Cruise.
Or like J.D. Vance. He's on
no,
the-
he was
He's on the
he
couch.
wasn't jumping on the couch. He was
Jumping into the couch.
jumping into it.
Yeah.
Well, the best way to get over somebody is get under somebody new. I didn't create that, but I think it's just. So, does anybody else have anything to say about that? Okay, so Richard, do we still want to talk about Graham Plattner's accuser, or since he's been obviated and sent back to the oyster farms, or do you still want to address that?
I do.
Okay.
They interviewed the woman who made the revelation. Did anybody here see the interview? Because it was very revealing. Among the questions asked for, what do you think of his politics? She thinks, I think his politics are wonderful. Oh, we didn't know you were that enthusiastic. Would you have voted for him? Absolutely. If he were still running, I would vote for him. Okay. Then you know what they didn't ask her? They didn't ask her, well, then why didn't you wait till after the election? Because I think the answer is pretty obvious. Somebody offered her a huge sum of money if you put that information out now. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, for the viewers, what was that information? In case they don't know.
From the viewers, what was
For the viewers, like what information did she let out? Some
That
people might not know what you're talking about.
Graham Plattner from Maine.
Oh,
sexually
you mean the
assaulted.
whole story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The background of the story.
He's a sexual abuser.
Thank you.
But I think that's right because money talks, basically.
But what
Remember Hugo Chavez?
Yeah.
He organized the grape workers, and then he recently died. A woman came out and said, he abused me for many years. And you know what they said? Why didn't you say something when he was alive? And you know what she said? I believed in his cause. He was doing a
Right.
lot of good things. This woman with Plattner could have done the same thing.
That was actually Chavez's wife. And yeah, that well, what really bugs me is the normalization of sexual assault. I mean, if all these people were Me Tooing years in the 90s, I didn't know anything. I knew a buddy of mine, also named Jason. He got laid all the time, but he didn't force anybody. He didn't force anybody. They all came to him. You know, I didn't. If it was happening, if it was this mass event all around me, it just wasn't where I was. You know?
Like, didn't it happen with Cuomo? Like, he was sexually harassing women, and then he had to resign because they were forcing him to resign.
Who, Andrew?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he said that was cultural because he was Italian.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, it's not a yes/no thing. You know, it's a continuum. And then when is too much enough too much? Like, that's why Keanu Reeves doesn't even touch the women. He puts an arm around them, but he doesn't touch them. If you were looked at the side, there'd be about that much distance. Because he's not going to be Me Too'd. I'll never be Me Too'd. But also, that's why I had about 20 dates between two women when I was at Duke, and I didn't touch them. So, wow, the dead air is definitely...
Yeah, isn't it? Let's liven it up.
I like your facial expressions.
So, but the one thing is that how do you get the money from person A to accuser? Because like what we found, President Trump could not get that 130 grand. You know, that just blew up. You know?
PayPal and Venmo. We have that now.
I don't know if you can Venmo somebody $150,000. That's a literal
Maybe you could
digital
go
track.
through the different ones and give a little bit from each.
But there's still a digital track. Cash is king.
Payment Bitcoin.
Again.
You'd have to set it up in such a way that it can't be traced.
Yeah, and anything digital, Bitcoin, crypto, Venmo, PayPal, there's always a digital footprint. And you put the AI detective on there, the AI detective will create a Frankenstein monster out of all the pieces and give you a complete picture.
What about proxy servers or utilizing various aspects of the dark web? Couldn't you do it through that?
Yeah,
somehow?
you could. I'm sure there's ways you
Yeah,
could do it.
I would think so.
Well, it's. I was reading more about the Tinder algorithm, and it's all AI driven.
Oh boy.
But, and if you do the same thing, if you use the same IMEI number from your phone, or they can even detect if you're using a VPN.
Oh.
So if you can get banned or you can get shadow banned, which is that's more like being shunned. But
So you know what you said, they can detect if you're using an AI?
or no, a
VPN.
I'm sorry, a VPN.
Yeah.
Every year, the privacy people put out a survey where they contact all the VPN people, companies, and they say to them, here's your chance to get some free advertising. We're interviewing every single company. We're asking them the same question. How much pressure would it take for you
Battery fully charged.
How much
Ooh.
pressure would it take for you to reveal who you're passing that information along to? It's a fascinating thing, isn't it? Because you know, with the right amount of pressure, they're going to give you up.
Yeah. Well, it was like in the hotel rooms in the 80s and 90s that also provided the porn for people that they could pay to watch on the TV.
Oh, that's
there was
right,
a button.
yeah.
And who was it? Was it HBO or was it the movie channel that, or maybe it was Showtime Networks that
Or
owned it?
Skinamax.
Oh, it might have been Skinamax. but-
HBO was known for not having X-rated. Cinemax was a little bit raunchier version of Showtime tied in with Showtime. So Showtime had Showtime after night.
HBO had what
Real-
was all
Real Sex?
Yeah, Real Sex.
When?
In the 70s, 80s, and the 90s. I mean, it was legit. I mean, there was like people. That's when that was the first time I ever saw an actual transsexual nude was unreal sex, or these guys that are drinking pee. I mean, they were all
golden champagne.
alternative lifestyles.
So you almost got your sex education through that show.
Oh boy,
well,
yeah.
There wasn't a lot of it elsewhere, you know.
That's true. Hey, remember Showtime After Dark?
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, we used to watch it like in 5th, 6th, 7th grade. I'd go stay at my friend's house and we'd watch the softcore pornography and on the Showtime After Dark. That was like a party on the weekends. It was
And,
great.
and Cinemax after dark.
Yeah.
I mean the Skinemax.
Yeah,
'cause
Skinemax was, yeah, that was like
That's
a
what I used
raunchier
to
one.
call it, Skinemax.
if you see a Skinemax movie, there's also an unrated version of it with the sex is actually, instead of cutting away from the sex, you can actually see it happen.
Right, yeah.
But Misty, what's her name? The black woman with curly hair. She like doubled her weight. She's about 5'9", and she was rail thin. Now she is ballooned up.
Ooh, is that for people with the feeder kink?
I think that she just started eating a normal diet.
Oh, how big is she now?
I don't know, but I think she might weigh more than I do.
Look like Lizzo or something?
What's that?
Lizzo? She looks sort of like that?
Almost. But Misty, she was a Penthouse pet before she went into porn, hardcore porn. Anyways, and I don't like the tattoos on Stormy Daniels. That distracts from the thing. Also, the fake boobs.
Oh, there we go. Escapade. Ooh, Channel N.
Yep.
Courier Cable.
Oh, I see a boob.
Okay.
I bet you do. Oh, boy.
What were you trying to show us there, Tom? With that
That's what
weirdness
You
there?
don't know?
That's what it looked like if you didn't have the.
Yeah, that's
That's adult cinema without
Yeah.
the decoder.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
Oh, that's the cable without the
Yeah,
decoder.
yeah. I remember that.
Didn't they have it cut into two parts and they
Sometimes.
reversed
Well,
it?
it
would
would
flip around. And
Yeah,
do
and it was like random, and then
Yeah.
occasionally you
And
get a
there-
picture, and then
You know what's a funny
And
I got a
if
story.
they had it reversed, like they cut it and then they put the top and the bottom of it, there were people who were desperate enough to try to watch a whole movie that way.
Hey, Richard, I have a story from my childhood. My parents were weirdos, as you know, but we would hang around the TV, and we had the old converter box, the Courier Cable box with channels like 2 through Z, and channel N, it was channel E for a while, was the Escapade porno station. So they'd have me jiggle the dial and try to get the signal in it, and I could do it, and you could watch it for a few minutes, but then it would go away again. But if you were jiggling the dial and pulling it back and forth just right, you could coax those channels that were scrambled in for a little while.
when I lived in St. Vincent, when I was in med school, overnight they would hijack the national TV station. One of them would hijack U.S.
Satellite,
one of 'em,
a satellite feed.
the feed, but
Yeah.
it was dirty movies.
Oh, that's great. Like the good Van Halen song from Fair Warning, Dirty Movies. Know that one?
No, I don't.
It's one of their better songs.
That's why nobody. I haven't heard of it because it's one of their better songs.
It is a good song. Some of the B-sides are better than the hits.
Okay. So let's Vanessa. Does anybody else have anything more to say about scrambled porn?
Oh, boy. It's like scrambled eggs. Oh.
Now it's ubiquitous, not
No,
scrambled.
Oh.
I find this intriguing, Vanessa. What about vocations?
Oh, vocations. You know how in the Catholic school or Catholic church, when I was a kid at Catholic school, they would say stuff like, oh, you will be called to a vocation, and your vocation will either be, you'll be clergy, like a nun or a priest, or you'll be married, which is the most common, or you'll be single. And like people forget about that because right now there's such a push for people to be biological breeding machines. There's a real push on it, including in the Catholic Church. So whatever happened to the so-called vocation of just being single and not being in a married breeder type of situation?
I find it a little bit quizzical, your demonization of heteronormativity when that's 90% plus of the population.
No, numbers doesn't make something correct or
By the
right.
biological imperative, it does. The only reason anything exists that's alive on Earth is to reproduce. That's the fundamental. That's the fundamental truth.
That's not actually a truth.
Well, are we
and not-
defined by our biology?
Well,
No, I think we're the spiritual spark within us that actually animates us, and the body is just like a secondary flesh prison that holds the spirit until the spirit can be released and returned to source.
whereas I don't believe that the soul or the spirit exists.
You don't?
Nope.
Then how are you talking and animated? What is giving you the power and energy? And like energy
My
itself
brain
would be the spirit.
and my neurons.
So to me, spirit can also you can also say that as a form of energy and the life force.
Well, we are electric, and although our visual range can't see it, our bodies actually emit light. Mm-hmm. But still, that's still explainable as
Does
ones
that have
and
to do
zeros.
with like our aura? Like they say people emanate different colors of light depending on their aura. Sort of like the mood ring where you have like the different colors, green and red.
Two
and all
different
that.
people, one in New York City, one in Hawaii, said to my roommate that they said they could see her aura and it was vibrant. Mm-hmm. So instead of being one color, she was party colored or multicolored.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
So I don't know if that's the same or if it's. Yeah, well, it's like, we have Tonawanda, New York. Mm-hmm. There
Yes.
is a place in Washington State called T-O, space, or dash NAH, N-A-H-W-A-N dash D-A, Tonawanda in the Native Americans.
Right, that's a
there.
Native American word. We have three of them: City of Tonawanda, Town of Tonawanda, and North Tonawanda.
There are 521 recognized tribes in the U.S., and there are many different languages.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even the Athabascan versus Inuit. And if you go into Nunavut, the people from the Northwest Territories probably won't be able to understand the people in Nunavut.
Yeah, Northwest Territories. That's where my grandfather was from.
But you can count on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, calling them vocations is just kind of... I think that... Did anybody here see the movie Conclave?
No.
It's
we
worth
didn't.
seeing. It's worth seeing.
Yeah, it's good.
And it was
Okay,
based
I've
on a
heard
book,
about it.
too, though. So if you prefer to read it, you can read the book because it has the same thesis.
It's all about the politics inside the clergy of the Catholic Church at the highest level.
Like the Cardinals.
Yeah, about the conclave is when they're selecting a new pope.
Right, right,
And all the things they discuss when it's time to get a new pope.
right.
Like you have racist cardinals, I
Yes.
would never elect a black person to be pope, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is there was a show called Blood and Treasure that was on CBS for a couple seasons, and one guy talks about Vatican intelligence, but on the show Evil, they call it the Entity, and that's what Vatican intelligence actually is called, the Entity. And it's like the CIA. Nobody admits they work for the Entity, but Vatican intelligence has immense networks. Also, the Vatican Armory. These gun nuts, guns and ammo, they'd be orgasmic over seeing all the weapons that the Vatican has.
So in the Vatican, they will do research on everyone who is a possible candidate to be pope to find out if there's anything that you might want to know about them.
Yeah.
About their past.
And that the Entity is incredible in its pull and its reach and its resources. And like in the movie, they made sure that the windows were double paned so the laser microphones could not listen in. That's how secretive it was.
Well, do you think people should be judged by things from the past? Who was the Pope Pope Francis. Or no, it was the Pope Benedict was in the Hitler Youth. Do you think that disqualified him from being the Pope?
No.
Well, we are what we repetitively do. So like McCarrick in Boston, he repetitively was a pedophile. He was the cardinal that got defrocked. Not a rank and file, guy you could move around. That guy was in the College of Cardinals. And you are what you repetitively do. So if he continued to be a Nazi, maybe that would disqualify him. But one and done, if that's what people were doing.
Yeah, you see it like a statute of limitations.
Well, when he was a kid.
If enough time goes by, then that's in the past. It's not something you've kept on doing.
Right. I had a professor in med school who was from Germany, and his father, he said, in World War II had joined the SS, but that was political. It was just for his career. Mm-hmm. He didn't actually profess, Schutzstaffel, shoot a Jew in the head sort of stuff. That's why they were mired in paperwork and files, and that's why you hide the Streisand doctrine, deliberate obscurity. You hide all the bad stuff under a lot of banality.
Well, like in hindsight, it's easier to see this stuff, but while it's going on, a lot of people are cowards and they just want to fit in and have the easiest or best earthly life they can, so they're going to go along with whatever's popular, and they might not necessarily believe it, but they're still complicit in the whole thing by being part of it.
Well, that's one of the arguments they're using as they're finding more and more war criminals, such as the accountant of Auschwitz. And the defense said, my client just did the same accounting work for the camp that she did for every other client.
And did she
didn't do it-
know what the camp was about when she was doing it? Or did
Well,
she not
that's-
even know what the
that's what
various
the-
customers were? She's just given data, and here, do this, and there's like a name of an entity on there, and she might not even know what the entity she's doing the data for.
Well, that's what
might
the
be.
prosecution said. You know, she must have known from looking at the data.
Well, in
what was
hindsight, she
going
might.
on.
Don't interrupt.
Right.
Yeah. So, and the defense said, well, should you persecute the cogs in the wheel? And the prosecution famously said, without cogs, there is no wheel. And that's how they justified, the prosecution.
That's sort of true.
Well, there was, after the Nuremberg trials, there was a doctor's trial, and it was either 16 or 21 Nazi doctors got convicted, and like half of them got hanged. So, even if you weren't Mengele, you had to know about the existence of Zyklon B, or that Bayer was making chemical weapons. Mm-hmm. And also, if you're an attorney, or if you're a professor, or if you're a doctor, you're more highly educated. So either you're a very hard worker or you're very intelligent, because that's what I could tell you. There's two brands of med students: the ones that work harder than anybody you ever saw, or the ones that are smarter than you ever saw. And so either way.
And which of those would more likely be persecuted or prosecuted?
Well, either one can do the job effectively. And so both of them would have an equal amount, because even your average doctor using the jargon sounds like they're a technocrat just by using jargon. And even if they're not intrinsically smarter, they just brute force learned it, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, there's the movie Trial at Nuremberg, and there were doctors who were in the private practice, but they were called upon to do, what's that operation called where you cut off somebody's testicles?
Castration.
Castration.
Orchiectomy.
And then they would say, well, what's the reason? Is there cancer? No, you just should do it. If they did it, should they be persecuted?
You gotta, doing unnecessary operations right there, that should, that should click. That should click. And I would say they should be prosecuted, because they should have the knowledge of first do no harm. And why are you taking the stones off this person? That's, that right there is ipso facto. Mm-hmm. Like injecting blue dye into brown eyes, that is harmful. Mm-hmm. That is harmful, ipso facto. Seeing somebody who, our thinking on the mentally challenged has changed, because the eugenics argument, like doing a hysterectomy on a mentally challenged female, saves that from being sent on to a next generation. That is a theoretical argument that you could make, but I'm not saying it's a defense. But we, instead of looking at them as like people, they looked at them as mistakes 80, 90, 100 years ago.
There's still a lot of that today with a lot of things, especially now.
Well, that's...
They say variance is, a lot of times they say variance is, and mutation is like a defect. It's not necessarily a defect or an inferiority. It's just something different.
Well, mutation is natural selection.
Yeah, it is.
And most dwarf or achondroplasia are most new mutations. They're new mutations. They don't get it from their parents until somebody is born with this new mutation, and then they can give it to their kids. Mm-hmm. Like you see that Jay and Pamela, they're like, what is it? Archaic dwarfs or ancient dwarfs. You know, that they're like this tall, and they're talking about having kids. But genetics is the gift and the curse of everything.
Yeah, but I've noticed, like, with the football players that take like these painkillers or whatnot, that a lot of, like, especially quarterbacks that have, had kids with some disease like that Krabbe's disease with Jim Kelly and
Yeah.
I
autism.
never thought of that.
Right. Yeah, I thought of that before too. What he's talking about. Yeah.
Well, I turned a little bit of a because he was misdiagnosed a couple times. You know that they thought he had Hunter syndrome and his name was Hunter, but then they said it was Krabbe's disease. Because what it is replicable things. You know, like we learn about pulmonary emboli or myocardial infarctions because we see more than one. If it's just one off, if it's Krabbe's disease, then it's Huntington's for another, and then it's Parkinson's for another. You can't draw a map to that.
It would have been nice if Jim Kelly had said, listen, all you quarterbacks that are out there now, what you put in your body is going to affect your offspring.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been the right thing to do. But he never spoke about it, that he had any role in the way his son turned
He
out.
wouldn't want to take responsibility for that, especially if it's his zygote or his sperm that caused that. He's not going to want to admit that because that's embarrassing. That's like that questions his very male virility and the health of his male virility, and that makes him like less of a man, perhaps,
well, the
in
weird-
in people's minds and maybe even his own.
Well, the weird part is his daughters were born normal. Like his two daughters.
Well,
were
maybe
born-
it's linked to the Y chromosome.
There's nothing. Oh, hey Mick, what's up?
Brain?
Brian.
Oh,
You misspelled
Brian.
it, yeah.
Oh, who's brain? Oh, okay.
Remember Brian, who was on the show
Yeah.
for a while? He wanted to Zoom in today, but he's not here.
Hey, we welcome him.
It's a common thing, by the way.
Yeah, he doesn't
Wednesday
follow
night.
through. a
Wednesday
lot.
night, somebody was here. I love the studio. This is fantastic. This is made for me. I would love to have my own show. Okay, here's a list of all the open dates. Pick one and get back to me. Silence. You know,
In the words of
there's these people in the world who just don't follow through.
Talk is cheap. Right?
Spirit of the
Yeah.
West from the
Yeah.
Midwest of Canada. Tell me what I think.
Hey?
Well, that's why the genetics is unfortunately it's not a clean answer. But on the Y chromosome, there's not a lot there.
Yeah.
The first thing we found on the Y chromosome was a testis determining factor, the TDF, and hairy ears.
Oh.
And I remember Colonel Reeves was a biology professor, but Jack Reeves did like ecology, and two different periods. I had physics, and then I had what biology class was it? They both teed off on Colonel Reeves because Colonel Carpenter, who's physics, said, Jack Reeves sits on one of those toilets. That's one hell of a lever arm. You're lucky it doesn't break off the wall. And then Major Bauer, the next period, said, well, on the Y chromosome, there's hairy ears like Colonel Reeves has, you know, in abundance. And I'm like, dude, they're teeing off on this dude, and he's not even in the room.
Do you know the reasoning why their color blindness is more often found in XY male?
Because it's on the X chromosome, so that's why with only one, the dominant chromosome in women XX is the one that happens, and that one doesn't dominate. But if you only have one, one X, that's why they get that. It's sex linked.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah.
Because also, all color blindness is not the same.
True, there's varying degrees. There's
Yeah, like-
little degrees. Some is red, some is greens, red, greens. and
Or
all-
it's just not being able to see shades.
Right,
Like
right.
yellow, white, red, red.
Uh-huh.
Gray. They can't see subtleties. They can't.
right. That's an inverse of tetrachromatism, where you can see like millions of gradations.
That's
within
my
shades.
roommate, and hers are functional.
I have that too.
That everything she sees it like a bird.
Yeah.
You know that. Why do birds chirp before the sun comes up? About an hour before you hear them start chirping. Do you know why?
They're seeing stuff that we aren't.
Yeah, the ultraviolet. They can
Yeah.
see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
They have a wider visual range, and that's why they go crazy. Going crazy. Okay. Anybody else have anything else to say about that?
What are we talking about again?
It was.
Yeah, you should always say what we're talking about.
We
'cause
forget. It
We
starts
go
to
on
meander,
tangents. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go on to another topic.
Okay, sure.
Anybody ready? Okay. Oh, yeah. U.S. government and the adults. That's my topic. Then we'll get to you, Robbie. there are no adults in the room. You know, that's the thing. That Marco Rubio might be the only adult in the room, and he has a bunch of unruly kids around him. I mean, the mercurial president, who you never know what's going on, it's going to take, when the cataclysm is done, how are we going to repair everything? The whole world thinks the U.S. is a dump and a shithole now, and that how are we gonna fix that? Because also, Pete Buttigieg and Andy Bashir will be a great ticket, but are Americans ready to vote for a gay president? Otherwise, besides that, the guy has all the bona fides. You know, and polling at only 2% is the last candidate, the Democratic candidate, the former senator from California. What's it? Kamala Harris.
Oh yeah, she's horrible.
She was also the Attorney General of California.
Yeah, and
that's not horrible.
But she let a lot of people who should have been released who were proven innocent. She wouldn't let them out of jail, even though she should have, when she was that. That's what a lot of people have against her. They call her Crooked Cop Kamala, with 3 Ks.
Never heard that. Who was it in the George W. Bush? Who was the Attorney General who put the blue pieces of cloth on the Statues of Liberty that are in the hall, covering up the breasts because they were exposed? You know, because that would poison minds.
Yeah.
Not Sessions. It was before him. It was John. Well, regardless, that's how the blue noses. You know that sex is bad, and sex should only be used to procreate, and you shouldn't have any fun, and you shouldn't do it, and you shouldn't talk about it, and you know, and you shouldn't do it. And then they wonder how their daughter gets pregnant.
And then they crash Grinder.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, Robbie. System of a Down. Bring your own bottle.
Yeah, like while we're getting into it, there's a part of that song that says blast off, it's party time. We live in a fascist nation, and now we hear the word fascist every single
Fascist
day,
nation?
almost. Yeah, and it's like, and I'm like going, wait a minute. So I think we've been a fascist nation for a while now,
A long time,
ever
yeah.
since probably George H.W. Bush or Reagan.
At least.
But
yeah.
I'm thinking it's more of H.W. Bush because it's the people that are getting richer, the rich getting richer.
You mean 1990? Or
Yeah.
you mean George W. Bush in the 2000s?
Well, really George W. Bush.
Oh, you
Or
said
you said
Because-
back to Reagan, which I would agree with.
No, but the economy was starting to become crap with George W. Bush.
Right.
And that's where the richer was getting richer and that.
Well, Reagan had sowed the seeds of that with the trickle-down economics.
which George H.W. Bush said was voodoo economics.
Yes, and
because-
then he went along with it after he became vice president.
Well, how do you get rid of your opponent? You make them part of your team.
That's right.
Like
Oh,
there
like RFK with Trump.
There was a comment that George W. Bush made back then. Like somebody asked him, how do you fix the economy? You just let it fix itself. Dude, you're the president. You're
boy.
supposed to help us out here.
Well,
Yeah, he got that right from Milton Friedman. Yeah.
who won the 1976 Nobel Prize in economics?
That's why I liked Obama. He tried his best. He just saved like the car companies and
So Obama puts on a tan suit, and the Republicans lose their minds.
Because he looked good.
And then Trump comes in, fires everybody and their brother, yanks the economy, loots the economy for $2 billion, and they don't turn in. And he's a convicted felon and an avowed proof.
Predator.
You are,
Sexual predator.
What you are is what you repetitively
Like-
do.
like
He's
when-
a sexual predator.
Like when he had the beauty pageants and he liked to spy on the girls and said he could because they're his beauty pageants. Remember that?
Yeah, like junior Miss America.
Yeah.
That's just creepy. That's creepy as hell. Like
Yeah,
that's
he's a pedo.
indecent exposure.
Yeah. His cult doesn't care. You know, I was thinking about, you were talking about the tan suit. Remember recently Trump bought a bunch of Florsheim shoes. They're the kind of shoes he wears, and he made a bunch of dudes in his cabinet wear them.
Yeah.
And he got some that were... Who was the guy that got the shoes that were too big and he put them
Rubio.
on? Yeah, Rubio. That was funny, that picture. It looked like clown shoes. They're like twice as big as his feet really were, and he wore them anyway.
Yeah, even though he is the adult in the room,
He had to
he
play
still had to wear the clown shoes.
Yeah, it's like that Twilight Zone with the kid who says, Anthony, It's good. It's real good, Anthony, and you have to agree with them, or else
They
send you
have
to the
adults in-
cornfield. That's like Trump is like Anthony.
They have
if you think
adults
about
in the
it.
government.
Rubio.
They're all old. They're like 80 years old and shit. So I
well,
guess.
Rubio gave a note to the president, to just put him back on track, and Trump reads it out loud.
Trump's like a 2-year-old toddler in like an old man's body.
Well, yeah, he has a simple mentality.
Very
he talks
simple,
like he's
yeah.
a fourth grader.
That's why a lot of people like him, because a lot of people are really simple.
Well, I say white illiterates say best
Oh.
president ever.
That's right. They can identify with him very well.
Yeah, and he knows how to make a deal. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
No.
I
He
mean,
couldn't
he's
make a deal with Monty Hall.
who was Canadian, by the way.
Like Theodore Cruz.
Well,
He's from Alberta.
he also has 2 or 3 degrees from Harvard. He's a smart guy. I mean, that doesn't mean it is, but it's hard enough to get in. They select the best, and then they make them into more.
Oh, like Kiss. You wanted the best, you got the best.
What the hell? No, I'm trying to this app. I'm trying to look and I touched one button and
Yeah, that thing's glitchy.
okay. So what else do we have? Bobby Bonilla Day, Richard.
You were just asking
Yep.
about that. Okay, here's an interesting story about promoters. Every minor league and every major league baseball team, you have a president, you have a coach, et cetera, a general manager. You also have a promoter. Promoter's job is to get people in the seats. And so a promoter has to know, what is it that people want? Do they want these stuffed animal mascots? Will they come if we have
Bobblehead.
Yeah, bobbleheads. They have all these things. Well, what happened is there was a baseball player for the New York Mets. And at one point, he was considered the most valuable player in the entire baseball league, so he got paid accordingly. And like with most baseball players, as time goes on, your skills start to diminish, right? But he had such a rich contract that the Mets are going, oh, I'm telling you, he's getting paid an awful lot, and he's not doing a lot. So they discussed it with his
Agent.
not his financial
Manager?
I guess you would call it his manager, but it wouldn't be his private manager. It'd be
Right.
his financial manager. And they said, if there was only a way we could stretch out the money that we owe him, that would give us more cash to buy good players to take his place. And the financial manager very smartly said, well, he's in his 30s now. How about you give him $1 million a year, every year for the next 30 years, whether or not he plays for you or not? What about that? Every year for the next 30 years. And they thought, that's going to really free up a lot of cash. It's a very generous offer. That was never, ever thought of before. So not only did they agree to it, the promotion guy said, let's put that in the paper, right? What a nice guy he was to do that. So they put it in the paper, and New Yorkers felt like, he is a nice guy, because now we can afford these other players that are free agents. And they were so enthusiastic about it, the promoter said, we're going to go one better. Every year on a certain day, we're going to have Bobby Bonilla Day. He's going to come, and we're going to hand him this giant check. They always do that, giant checks.
Right.
And then he's going to drive around the stadium in a convertible, wave to the people who are cheering for him.
Like the Pope.
Exactly. So they did this, and the people loved it. They go there for Bobby Bonilla Day every single year, to this day, cheering for him. And, of course, he soaks it all in. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that the promoter did the right thing?
Everybody wins
Yeah.
because they get free cash flow. He has a guaranteed stream of money coming in.
Yep.
And the people love it. And you know what you do? You give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Sometimes, unless you're certain political parties.
Now, Rob is a Yankees fan, not a Mets fan.
As am I.
And Rob said that he considers that one of the worst deals that the Mets ever did.
They're just like, you know what, they're trying to be Yankee wannabes to buy their team. Like, well, they're just jealous because the Yankees got more World Series.
Well, the Yankees are way older. Of course, they're going to have way more World Series.
Yeah,
Didn't the Mets start to exist in the late 60s? Like
early 60s.
early 60s. Okay.
Yeah. They were started in 62, and in 69 they won the World Series. But that was what's interesting was 20 years ago, when I was working in Greenville in the University Hospital, we had Greenville City Police and Greenville County Sheriffs. There was one of the sheriffs I got to know well, and he said, well, it's like we're the Yankees and the City Police are the Mets, and that's all you need to know.
Or a Jets fan is a Mets fan, and the Yankees fans are Giants fans.
What did you say again?
Basically, like Giants fans are Yankees fans.
Okay.
and
What
then
about the
Jets
Rangers
fans.
and the Islanders?
I think it's more like they're with the Mets too. Like the Islanders are the Mets, and then the Rangers are your like Yankees. And
Yeah, that makes that.
But I love the
tracks.
Yankees and I hate the Rangers.
yeah, well, we got a good team up here in Buffalo.
Well,
Well, actually, Jets and the Giants are not from New York. They're from New Jersey.
That's true. Yeah, they're in New Jersey.
We're the
now.
only New York team.
True.
well, then the Orchard Park Bills say hi.
Yeah, Orchard Park Bills. Mhm.
Well, so do the Fort Worth Cowboys.
What was it the? Where does the Boston Patriots play now? Foxborough.
Foxborough. Yeah. The Foxborough Patriot. Well, but they're New England. They're not Boston.
Yeah.
No,
They
they'll
have
always
been
be,
the
they will always be Boston Patriots to me.
They were New England Patriots before you were born.
What? Maybe.
They
Who
were.
knows how ancient I am? Ooh, I'm like something from the Twilight Zone.
Okay, so let's see. Do you have the Vanessa, the
Yeah.
Lena Dunham football comment?
Oh, but we probably don't still have that. Do you remember what that comment was, Richard? She was saying stuff.
Yeah, what she was saying is that there's a, when you idolize, there's an idolization of football players. And what is it exactly that they're idolizing? Are they idolizing their physiques? The fact that they're larger than life human beings with larger than life bodies? And is this not a form of gay?
Homoeroticism, right?
That's
Yeah.
what they call it, homoeroticism.
Yeah, she was saying that like NFL is homoerotic cosplay, I believe.
Yes.
That was it.
I think that sounds a little overwrought. That's somebody who has an agenda
Oh,
saying that. That's like when you see somebody and you only see their shoes, and you go crazy for their shoes. You don't see the rest of the outfit.
Right. Then that could be considered homoerotic, you mean?
No, whatever is her agenda is to say that it's homoerotic cosplay, neglecting the whole rest of the game. The theory of the game theory, the management, the play. That's just she's only looking at them as guys, and they like to rub on each other, which is the most primal way of describing it, because it's not leading to ejaculation.
oh,
So you see that as the threshold.
Well, I mean, that's what the rubbing and the grinding. If you're going to say it's homoerotic, it has to include genital stimulation.
And they also pat each other on the ass.
that's true.
Good game.
And in soccer, don't they kiss each other?
They do all sorts of stupid stuff. Then again, you should. I don't know if you ever saw the picture of Vinnie Jones, who now is an actor, kicking the guy right in the groin. I mean, his whole leg extended right in the crotch. Maybe he was playing rugby, not footy. But yeah, that they do.
Oh, here it was. American football is just gay guys reenacting gay porn. She said that at a conference. She told a joke. So American football is just gay guys reenacting gay porn. Well, maybe in the locker room, perhaps, because like I remember when I went to high school, that was a thing with the football team. Ooh, it was too. Why'd they have cheerleaders? Ooh.
Do you know why Lena Dunham is in the news a lot lately?
No, because she has a big mouth.
No.
She does stuff, and they like to quote her.
It's funny that you would say that, because both her parents are artists. Her father's a painter, and I think her mother's a musician. And so they raised their daughter to be an artist too. So their daughter was interested in writing. Now, when you're into writing, first thing that they tell you in class is write what you know. Like, don't write about what it's like to be a lumberjack. If you are not a lumberjack, don't go thinking you know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So she decides she's going to write about what she knows. So she wrote about what it was like to do the TV show Girls. Is that the show that she
Yeah.
did? That she wrote? And then the next question was, well, how do you follow that up? And she decided she would write about what she knows. So she wrote all about her therapy and about how she gave up drinking and then how she started gaining weight and how it affected her psychologically, how it affected her relationship with her parents, with her friends. Essentially, if you're her friend, you're probably in that book. And and the press loves it. You know,
Yeah.
they love these tell-all books.
Is it particularly fascinating, or is it just run-of-the-mill, like psychological problems that are just common among many people? Is it anything special?
I've heard both things. You know, it's just a spoiled celebrity who is self-absorbed, and I've heard it's very brave of somebody to talk about their therapy and all the things that might be wrong with them.
Can both things be true?
True. Could be sort of a little narcissistic if you think about it. Like, why should somebody be so interested in someone else's psychological, personal, medical records and experiences unless they're like super intriguing in some very interesting way?
Lurid interest?
Yeah, maybe. People are nosy.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
Just lurid interest without a true reason.
So she is in the news so much that last November, her father said, I'm going to go in person and vote this year at the local polling place. And she said to her father, would you like me to come with you? And her father paused and he said, I don't know if I'd want to be seen in public with Lena Dunham.
Ooh.
Now, he said it sort of like as a joke, but she realized, wow, he's relating to me, not as the girl that he grew up with and cared for, but as the celebrity. And she realized, I've become two people.
Ah. Oh.
The one you see and the one you are. Well, it happens. On country music, the 10-part series that was on PBS, Minnie Pearl talked about, it was a recollection of her story that she's up at the house and she said, oh, the people are here down at the foot of the driveway. So she puts on the hat with the tag, goes down, is all folksy. She was very urbane and educated, but she plays the homespun, Minnie Pearl and gives them what their thing is. And in the movie, what was the movie about James Whale with Brendan Fraser? But that's where there was people that had to perform, give the people what they want. The movie stars have to give the people what they want. Like, what did you say about Lana Turner? They go to bed with Lana Turner, or they go to bed with Gilda and they wake up with Lana Turner. Is that?
No, you're thinking of Rita Hayworth.
Oh, Rita Hayworth. Yeah, they go
Yeah.
to bed with whomever and wake up with Rita Hayworth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gilda. They go to bed
Gilda.
with Gilda.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then her mental health started suffering near the end of her life.
Well,
Tends to
And so
happen.
they asked Orson Welles, there's this news story all over the press where she caused a scene on an airplane and the police had to be called when the plane landed, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, he could never turn down telling you what was really on his mind. And he said, of course, I was married to her. Of course, I loved her. And of course, it didn't work out. But I would be lying if I didn't tell you that I didn't see this coming. In other words, she wasn't, she had her psychological problems, is what he was trying to say.
yeah, I have personal experience with that about the crazy filling up the room.
I'm
filling all the oxygen. You know, like what is a fanatic? Somebody who can't change their mind and won't change the subject.
And what's the best way to handle somebody who is taking up all the oxygen in the room?
Well, the best way is to work with them, but the second best way is avoidance. I mean, it's an easier way out. It's just remove the problem from your situation. For me, that was my best move.
Avoiding them.
Yeah.
So you walk out of the room.
Yep. You know, when you hear about like Roger Ebert walking out of a movie, that sort of thing, you know, like I've had enough. I can't watch any more of this trash and getting the hell out of Dodge.
Now, Vanessa, you've been around a lot of crazy people who
that's for sure.
who take up all the oxygen in the room. What's your strategy?
Oh boy, I don't know if I have a strategy.
Do you leave the room like Jason?
That depends on the situation.
What if it's you that's taking up the air?
Then I got to run away from myself, and like that's hard to do. But I can dissociate really well and like go to other places outside of myself. So maybe I can do that.
I was thinking about how good Pam is at that.
At what? Handling
Well,
crazies?
Pam managed to bring. I just saw that YouTube video I sent you, where you and Tony the truck driver in the YouTube video together, and I give Pam a lot of credit.
That has nothing to do with Pam. We were just happened to be there.
I think she invited you both.
Well, it's an infringement festival thing, of course. It's a thing open to the public, and he would know about it, and I knew about it.
If I were Pam, I would have said the same thing.
You know, that has nothing. That's nothing personal. It's just some public music event that lots of people knew about, and we happened to be there at the same time.
Total coincidence. Okay.
Well, it's a coincidence. Tom was there too. Oh.
Well, I didn't even hear about it. Or
Bobby Angel was there. Like it's a crew. It's a scene. We all know each other within this music scene. So like, of course, we're gonna run into each other because we all go to the same shows, see the same bands, know a lot of the same performers. There's a lot of cross pollination. That's a music scene. It's like not expecting to see Marky Ramone at a Blondie show at CBGB's or see Debbie Harry at a Ramone show at CBGB. Well, what is that? What? That's not a coincidence. I don't know.
What?
It's all scene stuff. Like people run into each other.
55 years ago, I bet you they would both be there because
they would both be there.
Yeah, that Debbie Harry was there. She was dancing.
That's my point.
I mean, you go down to the coffee shop because the cute girl that works there, and you go all the time, and she's there. I mean, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Maybe Tom Verlaine will show up for a while. Who knows?
Who the fuck is Tom Verlaine?
Television. You know, television. They're one of the
Vladimir Zworykin.
the first CBGB band. They're very important.
So you didn't know about the musicians that were at that level of, like, you know, it seems like you know the more popular musicians of the era where you were really influenced by music.
Yeah, I didn't know all the people who three guys who got together, did one single, and then broke up, and then joined up with other ones.
Television had a couple albums. They're very influential, very important.
Yeah,
band.
that is an interesting thing. A lot of when the guitarists would say who influenced you, they would say Tom Verlaine.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I connected, and it put me on a different page. It took out the new topics.
We're in a parallel universe.
I thought you wanted me to do that. Sorry.
That's another.
Oh no! I was just keeping track of them, and then others disappeared. Did you just delete them off?
I did.
No! That
Should I do it at the end now?
No, I just doubling up. You know where you see the X? That's
Right.
ones that we were covered.
Right.
Many roads get to the same location. Okay.
All roads lead to Rome. Right.
Well, that's because SPQR, Senatus Populusque Romanus, Senate and People of Rome. The Senate was patrician, and all the people were plebeian. And even your slaves were freer than black slaves in the 1800s. That because your slave didn't want to go anywhere. You know, they just weren't Roman citizens. They were living there. They were eating. They had water. You know, I mean, they weren't being beaten. And they weren't being subjugated. They weren't in chains. They just, why would they want to leave? Because their life would be shit if they weren't there.
It's like the bird that gets used to the cage.
Yeah, but you know, considering there was I read it somewhere and I can't back up the fact, but that 90% of Americans will only go more than 50 miles away from where they grew up once in their life.
That's true.
You know, everybody is a townie. Oh goodness, we're out. We're out.
We're not.
No. So where's that joke, Robbie? I got a joke for you. How warm is a baby at birth? Their womb temperature. Okay.
But they're out of the womb now. So
Okay,
maybe they're
hold on.
Oh.
Follow us on our socials. If you have any comments, you can text me if you have my number. Otherwise, put it in. We're on TikTok, YouTube, the Facebook, and...